Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yeah, man. This thing has definitely affected everything. It's definitely affected everything down to, of course, our sports. And I think a lot of this stuff, with the protesting and, sports had been put on notice a few years ago with Colin Kaepernick, when he started his movement of kneeling peacefully during the national anthem, and, he got a lot of backlash for it. And this week, I feel like he kind of had a victory, some sort, as far as people coming out, the NFL. Before we talked about that, something else did happen that was really controversial, which put him even more in the spotlight now with Drew Brees' comments. I know you guys watch sports, and I know you guys have been watching that. And so for the people that don't know, Drew Brees was on a segment for Yahoo Finance, and they asked him about his position on the kneeling during the national anthem. And, in, I don't know what you would call that, in like a tone-deaf moment for Drew Brees, he kind of like doubled down on the fact that he can never kneel for the national anthem, that he feels that anybody kneeling during the national anthem is disrespectful to the flag, and that when he thinks about the national anthem and the flag, he remembers his two grandfathers that fought in the wars, and that kind of like brings tears to his eyes. And he faced a lot of backlash, man. A lot of the players came out, including his teammates, Michael Thomas, Malcolm Jenkins, Emmanuel Sanders. They made public comments about him, just basically saying that they wasn't with that. And Drew Brees, he met a lot of vitriol. A lot of people were upset, because they felt like he was being insensitive to what was going on at this time, and he actually had to issue an apology, right? And so with that apology, that prompted Donald Trump to actually tweet about Drew Brees, stating that, he's one of the greatest ever, but he shouldn't have apologized for his opinion on people kneeling during the flag. And, in Donald Trump fashion, also added his own thing, no kneeling during the flag, things like that. And Drew Brees actually came back at Donald Trump. And this is what he wrote. Through my ongoing conversations with friends, teammates, and leaders in the black community, I realize this is not an issue about the about the American flag. It has never been. We can no longer use the flag to turn people away or distract them from the real issues that face our black communities. We did this back in 2017, and regretfully, I brought it back with my comments this week. We must stop talking about the flag and shift our attention to the real issues of systemic racial injustice, economic oppression, police brutality, and judicial and prison reform. We are at a critical juncture in our nation's history. If not now, then basically when? How'd you guys feel about that when you saw it? Your initial reaction to it, Vlad?
Well, I don't know if my reaction can be nothing but like everybody else. If you haven't seen the whole Drew Brees thing, you must have been living under a rock, because it definitely took over. I think from like Tuesday or Wednesday on, it took over a lot of the conversation that were happening about the issue. And I think, obviously Drew Brees put his foot in his mouth. That's how I felt. I felt as though he was very insensitive, and for a guy that I actually like, I think he's one of the quarterbacks that I felt as though where it's very human, very relatable, So I really did not expect that from him. So when I heard that, I was very disappointed. That's something he shouldn't have said. He missed the mark on that. He did not understand exactly what people were going through, and it was beautiful, the amount of people that came out against him. You know what I mean? Not only his teammates, not only football players came out against him, but basketball players came out against him. All the sports media, Stephen A. Smith, all those guys came out against him. So I thought it was good. And one thing that I saw, which I liked, was Tony Dungy came out and said that it's actually good that Drew Brees said what he said, because the conversation needs to go there. The conversation needs to go places where we need to have conversation with people that don't have the same ideology as us, so that we can change their minds. And in a matter of less than 24 hours, Drew Brees got hit with the most backlash he's ever faced, and he had to change his mind right away. He had to go back and think about what he said and think about the reason why people are protesting. I thought it was really powerful. I'm not saying, I don't know if Drew Brees' ideology about the world changed automatically, but he had to step back and really think about what he said, think about why black people are protesting, think about why Kaepernick kneel, and think about the whole issue in its whole. And I think people like Drew Brees that represent the NFL is the reason why Kaepernick got blackballed.
Yes.
Blackballed. Because if Drew Brees, one of the face of the NFL, had stood up with Kaepernick, it would have been a whole different conversation 2 years ago. And it also tells you that if the NFL had given Kaepernick the space to speak up 2 years ago, I'm not saying George Floyd wouldn't have died, but some of the conversations that we're having today could have happened 2 years ago. But the NFL, instead of creating that safe space for Drew Brees, for Kaepernick to have this conversation, they shut it down real quick, and now look where we are.
Well, they wanted to pander to the fucking president.
Yeah.
They were afraid of what the fucking president was gonna tweet, the fucking asshole. So,
for real.
Hey, let's ruin a man's career and blackball him because of fucking retarded dudes in the fucking office. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language, because retarded is not a nice word, but this is how you felt, and during the whole situation, him calling everybody sons of bitches. It's like, bro, are you joking? The guy is literally kneeling down. Like, I don't understand what the issue is, and I think that, like Vlad was saying, these are the things we needed to talk about back then. Why are all these people kneeling? Why is this group of people, why do they feel Colin Kaepernick and this group doesn't? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they, I do understand making money in the NFL is a brand that is supported by a lot of white people, a lot of white Southerners, a lot of old white people that are buying the tickets and all that stuff. So they want to save their brand. They want to pretty much cater to the crowd, which is what Donald Trump does. And, it's basically what they fell on. They're like, hey, let's not upset the people that are giving us, all this money, acting like other people don't have money, so let's just blackball this dude, Did you want to add anything to that, Barry?
Yeah, I wanted to, say,
yeah,
give my thoughts and say what my reactions, were when I first saw the, Drew Brees comments in that interview with Yahoo Finance. They're similar to, what you guys you have previously just stated. I was appalled and stunned when I at first heard him say that, and I couldn't believe it, that out of all people, him would come out and say those kinds of comments and those and the things that he said. and this is from a guy that I, not only like, but I, respected, like, and it was actually a fan of, and I even actually have his jersey. Not anymore now, but I did have.
Would you do burn it?
No, I didn't burn it. I got, rid of it, and
Wait, did you get rid of it because of this situation?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
No,
Okay.
definitely, yeah. I most certainly got rid of it due to, what he had said during the interview this week. He was, we always thought of him as a first-class guy, one of the classier guys in the league, one of, the, more humble guys in the league, and a guy that, played the game the right way and also always did the right things, off the field as well, and was a man of, integrity. That's what, prior to this incident, that's how I always viewed him and thought of him as not only as a player, but as a person. I thought, he was a good, genuine, kind-hearted person.
Clean cut.
Right, facts, exactly. And then this just completely, changed my mind about him to the point where, I had to get rid of his jersey, and, I definitely feel the same way as all those people who had, backlash and ripped him this week, feel, and I'm glad that they did that. So definitely shout out to all of those, players and, media people who, came at Drew Brees and who jacked him and put him in his place, because he definitely, deserved that to happen after, saying what he said, and it was unfortunate and insensitive and unnecessary for him to say that, he was acting as if his black people also weren't in the army and also weren't fighting for the country along with his parents, as if it was just all white people that were fighting for the country. There were clearly also blacks that were fighting for the country just as much as his grandparents when it was their time, and then they served in the army, and he clearly wasn't getting the big picture here and wasn't getting the main purpose and point of why people are protesting and why and why these protests have been transpiring over the last couple weeks, and why Kaepernick did what he did, and so it was. I'm glad he finally gets it now, after being properly informed by other people of why all these things are happening, and why Kaepernick did what he did a couple years ago, which to me is still fucked up by how the NFL treated him. And I don't give a damn that Roger Goodell finally admitted that he was wrong. I know we want to talk a little bit about that for the show, but I briefly just wanted to mention that, that apology, that sorry ass apology from Goodell, that's too little, too late. You should have said that a couple years ago. Where was you at, bro, when Kaepernick was doing that, and then you try to diminish him and you try to make him a scapegoat and demoralize him and his career, and put him down. They've always talked down to people Kaepernick, who tried to do something right to bring an issue to society's attention, and it's just it's ridiculous and it's bullshit that that the league has always done that to those kinds of players who have who try to make a change and a difference in society and try to make it a better place for everyone. So and I don't really care too much about Drew Brees' apology. I mean, I'm glad that he apologized and admitted and we're glad that he at least acknowledged that he was wrong about what he said and how that affected people and why everyone felt some type of way about it. But I mean, at that point, the damage is already done. Like, we already know how you feel, and we already you've said enough to the point that it's like, okay, even with you apologizing, what difference does it really make? Like it was apology that I knew the minute that I saw that video he was gonna have to, just because from a PR standpoint, and he didn't want to lose the locker room and the players that he's gonna have to play with during the season. He wanted to at least do something to kind of regain their respect and regain their trust, even though that's obviously gonna take a while, because I don't think one apology is gonna do that. But he wanted to at least start and have that go in the right direction, and at least be able to be more sensitive to to his teammates, even though I still think that it's not going to work. But I mean, we'll see what happens as the season comes along, and I'll definitely be following that as as well, because that's definitely going to be an interesting thing, is how is this going to affect the relationship that he's going to have with his teammates who are African American.
Word, I agree with that, man. I saw his comments. At first I didn't really pay too much attention to it. I didn't really like what is he talking about? Like, I thought this was like a thing from like a couple years ago, because we're going through this situation right now, and I'm thinking to myself, like, there's no way like he's saying this shit right now. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, this week, like, it's been 2 weeks of protesting. Like, I just didn't get it. I'm like, or like, how are you dumb? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
right.
And then I really heard his comments, and I just thought they were ignorant, man. It's like, bro, you're really not thinking, It's like, I was watching Undisputed, and Shannon Sharp made this, he said this metaphor, and I think that applies to majority of the country. He said, what he said was, the blindest man isn't the man that can't see. No, he said, the man that can't see isn't the blindest. It's the man that chooses not to see. You know what I'm saying? And like, that stuck with me. I even like posted that as a status, and that stuck with me, because it's like, bro, there's no way you can't see what the hell is going on right now. You're choosing not to actually listen to it, pay attention, and comprehend what the fuck is going on right now, because there's no way you see that George Floyd murder and not connect that back to Colin Kaepernick. There's no way you don't do that. And it's like, that's the exact same thing. Like, and for the guy to kneel on the guy's neck, when Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee, is like, bro, if you can't put those two and two together, I'm like, you're one of the smartest quarterbacks. How do you not put those two together? I was glad that his teammates actually came out and said something about it, you know, because a lot of the quarterbacks in this league sometimes are like untouchable. You know, you can't really say too much about them. Like Tom Brady's a god to everybody. You know, but even he hasn't said anything about this situation either, which I feel like it's pretty lacking as one of the faces of the NFL. It's like, bro, you're Tom Brady, man. I know you put up your little black screen or whatever on Blackout Tuesday, but your wife is Brazilian, you know, half your kids are Brazilian, and, you know, these people get marginalized too. You know, and if you're not speaking up, I don't know what you're doing, you know. But I definitely felt that Drew Brees coming out with that apology was a good thing. You know, my thing is like, people do make mistakes. You know, this was a really terrible mistake. Cause,
it was
you know,
pretty big.
That was really ill-advised and stupid.
Right,
you know?
right.
People make mistakes, so we're not gonna hold, you know, them to that, you know, forever. But at the same time, you gotta understand, like, you gotta really understand some people and their mindset. And like some people are saying in the media, it's good that we got to hear that because we see what's really behind the lens, you know. A quarterback like Jake Fromm said some stupid shit this week too, right? Like the text messages came out. He said some shit about
white
you know
power or something.
No, he said something about people, guns should be made really expensive and it should only be owned by elite white people, which is like it's telling you something. It's like that's their mindset. What are you saying? Like black people can't own guns? Like last I checked, you know, we all have Second Amendment rights. It's like I don't understand that logic, you know. So you're saying just because your skin color, you know, you should be able to have this when I'm not able to have this. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
It's one of those. It's the time in our lives, man, when a lot of things people are really analyzing some of the things. You know, I think a lot of white people are starting to like see between the lines of certain things, you know, with the lady calling the cops and that bird watcher guy, everybody's like, that's what they've been talking about this whole time. You know what I'm saying? For that lady to say an African American male was threatening my life, it's like, all right, we understand what the hell these people have been saying this whole time. It's like you're saying my skin color is a freaking threat. So the police people can come here and do whatever they do, and we know what they do.
The way she said it too, it's like she's calling the cops and saying the African American. She kept mentioning that. The way she said it, it's basically calling the cops to do exactly what they did to George like that.
Exactly. She's trying to set him up. Exactly.
I couldn't help but connect the two.
Nah, it's the exact same shit. Because had the police came and she's a white woman and she already dropped African American, and we know in every case, you know, who did this? Oh, it was two African American males, you know? Like every crime scene, you know, you fit the description and all that shit. It's always some African American dude, you know, and it's in the back of everybody's mind. It's in the back of their minds. And it really tells you what they think when we're walking on the streets and we're next to them and stuff like that. You know, I've walked behind a lot of white people that have crossed the street before. It's like I don't think they understand things like that, you know. I think they have a difficult time understanding what this situation is about as far as like the protest, and I think Drew Brees just illustrated that for you perfectly, right? And
I think that's why it's important that, you know, I mean, it's almost weird because you wanna make space for those dumb people to come out and say dumb shit.
You do.
So that you can call them out. You know what I mean? So, because if we never have the opportunity to call them out, they're always gonna have those conversations.
The same mindset.
Right. Things aren't gonna change. Exactly.
They're always gonna be able to have those conversations behind closed doors. Like, if you look at somebody like Donald Sterling, he was having those conversations behind closed doors all the time. But somebody had to record what he was saying so that we can have those conversations so that he could get kicked out of the NBA. Unfortunately, that's where we are. We are at a point where we need to all those racist people to come out to say dumb shit for us to call them out. You know, when Drew Brees first said it, I was like, oh yeah, fuck Drew Brees. Drew Brees is out. And then he came out the next day and apologized. and I didn't want to take it. I was like, yo, fuck you. You said that shit yesterday. Today you coming out and apologizing.
Oh, you learned all that stuff in 24
hours. One day, exactly.
Yeah.
Just because you were getting so much heat from it, exactly.
And then I saw all his teammates, coming out and saying, hey, I believe my brother fucked up or whatever.
Yeah.
I wanna
move
forgive
forward.
him and move forward. Which I completely understand. I think an issue pops up, we address it, let's move forward together. And I think we should give Drew Brees a chance to redeem himself.
Facts.
No, I understand that.
Don't get it twisted though. Drew Brees has done a lot for his community. He's done a lot for the game. He's done a lot for just the black people, period, in that area. As far as he's been there since Katrina. So even before then, and he had a huge helping hand in rebuilding that city, and that's great. So I don't want that what he said to take away from everything that he did. But at the same time, just because he did that doesn't mean we can't come at him for exactly what he said.
Exactly. And hold him accountable.
Exactly. To hold people accountable, like Barry is saying, because you can't think like that anymore. The direction we're trying to go is to eviscerate things like that. When somebody's talking and they're telling you they're going through some shit, pay attention and fucking listen. You know what I'm saying? Like, people shouldn't have to, gather up like this. The world is watching, man. Oh, yeah. The world is freaking watching. And people shouldn't have to gather up like this to do something that's right. And that's what it comes down to. And another thing Drew Brees did, with the whole Donald Trump tweet, he came back at Donald Trump. And pretty much told Donald Trump, like, this shit ain't about the flag, And I think that was
that was big.
That was big for him.
Right.
That was big.
I'll give him credit on that.
As much as I didn't want to accept his apology, when he came out he came on and apologized. Donald Trump said, you shouldn't have apologized. And then he came out and said, hey, Donald Trump, I'm addressing you specifically. That gained my respect. I was like, wow.
Right. No, I did like that.
Because he could have stayed quiet, or he could have not actually addressed the president specifically.
Exactly.
Or he specifically addressed the president, which I give him respect for that. And like I said, I think Drew Brees is a great guy. I think he definitely fucked up this week. And I'm not forgetting it already. I'm ready to move forward and make things better, but I'm not gonna forget what Drew Brees said and how he felt doing in the midst of protesting. While he not only that he had his whole life to learn what black people have been through and why they're protesting, but he also had a week and a half to learn why people are protesting, and he still came on and said the dumb shit he said. So I'm not forgetting. I'm not forgetting at all what he said. But I'm ready. I am ready to move forward and make things better.
Yeah. The other thing too, man, you've been playing with black players
all
your whole goddamn life, bro. Like
your whole freaking career, exactly.
I don't know, man. I listened to Pat McAfee and. He had a lot of good things to say, and
I love Pat.
I really like him, man.
He's that dude. He's that guy.
It's like he gets it.
Yeah.
He'll say, "Dude, I'm the only guy that smoked blunts, with dudes, and then had dinner with billionaires."
He has a show, like, as you guys know already, but for people that don't know, Pat McAfee has a radio show that he airs on YouTube, but it's also on the radio waves or whatever. And on Tuesday, he decided not to have a show at all.
Yep.
The Tuesday,
wow, really? He didn't do one this
week? He participated.
The Tuesday that everybody was putting out a blackout square on their social media, which is great. I understand the support, I understand the unity, but Pat McAfee took it another step. He decided I'm not even gonna do my show on Tuesday. So
that's awesome.
He blacked out his whole show, which not a lot of people agreed with. I'm sure his sponsors might not have agreed with that, and also some of his listeners. Some of his listeners are white people that don't agree with him. Yep. So I'm sure he's losing I'm sure he's losing a lot of listeners by doing that, but he did it anyways. I love Pat.
That's awesome. He's a real one for that. Big shout out to Pat McAfee.
I'm sure he lost fans, but I'm sure he's gained a lot more too.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And you know, the fact that he does have that big audience, I feel like it's even more important for people like him to say stuff, because it's like
right, exactly.
These white dudes are gonna watch you. You know what I'm saying? And for somebody like that, you know, who a lot of people respect his thoughts and stuff like that, just to come out and just like rebuke this stuff. And he's been advocating and using his platform to create awareness, you know, just expressing his disdain for certain things, you know, I think it's great. You know, thank you for watching this video. If you like Pro Fan Sports podcast videos, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps us out greatly.
New episode will be dropping every Wednesday morning. Clips will be dropping every Wednesday afternoon. Click on the bell button for notifications on all our new videos. Thank you.